Genuinely, what it feels like to be a reader during the months of April, May, June, and July is no sleep, bus, club, another club, plane. There are so many new releases. It's a little bit overwhelming because it's like Christmas every single Tuesday. I have no words to express to you the amount of joy that New Release Tuesday and these like summer months bring as a reader. There's so many beautiful, amazing, brilliant books by some of my favorite authors, by debut authors. I don't even have enough words. I originally wanted to film a books that make me cry for this week's reading video. I asked you guys and I asked a friend, I was like, should I do that or should I do reading new releases? Everybody said reading new releases, and then a couple of you were like, why don't you do both? I have about 3 books that I'm really dying to read right now. One Golden Summer, which is a romance. Aftertaste, which is like a magical realism fantasy-esque book. And then My Friends, which is fiction, literary fiction, probably gonna stab me in my heart, and I'm gonna like every second of it. Those are the 3 books this week that are new, that are on my radar, and I thought we should spend the week reading, talking, yapping, flying, doing all the things that I love to do together, and that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. I think I'm gonna pick up One Golden Summer and start this video off with a good book. Oh, hey! I made it to Puerto Rico. I am gonna change, and oh my gosh, I have so much to tell you. Where do I even begin? I unfortunately had to wake up at 4:50, my alarm went off, and I left the house at 5:45. I had 2 flights. Where did I even go? Oh, I went LA, Charlotte, and then Charlotte, San Juan, which is where I am now. I have not been here in a really long time. The last time I was here, I flew with my friend, and I'm actually flying with her again, which is so funny. My only plan for this layover is to go get coffee in a Capri Sun pouch-esque bag. You guys know me. All I want to do is go on a walk and get coffee, and I'm gonna do that in a place I haven't been to in a very long time. I am gonna unpack and then chat with you about my book and read and head to bed, but we're gonna have a cute day tomorrow, and I have so much to tell you about my book. I don't even have the words. Y'all, I have not felt this way about a book in so long. I started this book today, okay? I am currently on page 131. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've read a book that had flirting in it that made me feel something. Just really good banter that's not like enemies to lovers-esque. It's been a long time since I've read a really good grown-up banter flirting romance. And when I tell y'all, I'm like, I think flirting is my new favorite trope because of this book. And I'm not even halfway through. Like, I want to go home so I can get flirted with. We need to bring back flirting in books, in life, in dating, in relationships, in the movies. I want flirting, and I want it now. One Golden Summer is pretty damn golden if you ask me. But this Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, I didn't know was like special, but I went with my friend Ayana and she was like, it's shimmery. And I was like, what do you mean? Maybe just the photo was different. I saw it in person and I was like, no, it's shimmery. Look at this artwork that's on the front inside page. It's them jumping off of a cliff. It's so stunning. Carly Fortune to me is the beach read queen. She knows how to do a summer romance and a summer at the lake. Oof, boy, I love a lake, small town romance. There's just nothing like it. My grandparents used to have a lake house in Indiana, and it just brings back really good childhood nostalgia, and I love a lake. like so much. I love the beach, but there's nothing like a lake. In this book, we immediately get to meet the female main character, Alice. She is a photographer living in Toronto and just kind of like going through the waves of life. She's not really pushing herself. She's not really inspired. She just got out of a 4-year long relationship with somebody who just didn't really light her spark. He dumped her and got engaged 2 months later. Ew. But she's just been going through the motions of life. Her breakup was 6 months ago. She's kind of like starting to feel good and okay. And one day she gets a call that her grandma had a fall at a dance class and had surgery. And so she decides, you know what? I'm gonna take my Nan to the lake. Alice hasn't been since she's been 17. Her Nan loves the lake. Her best friends used to live there. And she just wants to give her grandma joy. She's 87 years old, just went through a really hard surgery. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna take her to the lake. So they go to the lake and they stay in her grandma's old friend's house that she's lost contact with. There's this guy that is setting it up for them because nobody's lived there. His name is Charlie, which if you've read Carly's other books, in her first book, he's actually in that book. This is his love story. So we get to see Charlie again, or if you've never read her first book, you get to meet Charlie. Charlie's doing something for me. I like Charlie a lot. He is charismatic. He is sassy. He flirts through like playful banter and being mean, which just sign me up. My absolute favorite. Honestly, I am signed up because that's me and my husband. Charlie's got it going on. I don't know why I'm picturing Glenn Powell, but like a little bit. It's not even that they're describing Charlie as crusty, but I'm just picturing Glenn Powell, but like Glenn Powell on vacation, living in a lake house, kind of Glenn Powell. You know, when you like meet somebody and you're talking and it's like flirty and giggly and cutesy and you're like nervous and having the time of your life and you keep checking your phone and staying up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, how the tables turn. The next time you should have saw me should have been in San Juan. I had the most beautiful, brilliant day planned out. I woke up the next morning after you guys saw me with body aches, chills. You know where this is going. But today is the first day where I'm like kind of okay. And I have not picked up my book, One Golden Summer, since I talked to you last. I thought, oh, you know, I'm sick. I have nothing else to do. I'll want to read. It's been one of those sicknesses where I've just sat and rotted, which is what you do when you're sick. So nothing wrong with not reading. This is the first time where I'm like, I want to go outside. I want to get some fresh air. I'm ready to read again. I'm slowly but surely coming back to life. I also have some healthier, greener, fresher ingredients to make a soup tonight to hopefully bring me back to life. So the next couple days might be a little bit slow, but we will persevere and continue to read some fun new releases. The only other news that I have for you is in my last vlog, I showed you my new obsession in life, which is a warmie. If you don't know, it's a stuffed animal you can heat up. And it actually wasn't my warmie. I was borrowing it from my friend Kenzie to see if I liked it and, you know, just the vibes. And it's my newfound joy in life. And I have now bought my own warmie. This thing has like literally lived on top of my body since I've gotten it, especially being sick. My new profound joy in life. Oh me, oh my. Oh. How do I have to tell them about my book? I am usually somebody that walks like 3 miles every day, and I haven't been. And even though I got a little bit of sun the other day while reading, I need a good hour outside in the sun with some fresh air, with some wind. It just is gonna do my soul wonders. And I have about, I think, 80 pages left. And I thought, what better way to finish One Golden Summer than to go read it outside? I have so many amazing things to say about One Golden Summer. This feels like a very realistic two adults trying to make a real grown-up relationship work. And I've said a bunch of times, like, I'm done with contemporary romances, but I feel like I need to say I'm done with overly tropey, unrealistic contemporary romances. Like, I don't like those books, but I really like a book that feels like, you know, it's real. I just have been flying through this book. I've been giggling. I've been kicking my feet. My husband, when we were reading outside and tanning together, he was getting really upset at me because I was like vividly expressing my emotions with how giddily this book was making me. And he was like, you can't do that. And he was like, what are you reading? And it was just really funny. But like, you can vividly see my emotions while I'm reading this book. Bring back yearning and flirting, like true flirting and tomfoolery. Bring it back. This is the book of the summer. If you're going on a trip, if you're going on a vacation, if you just want a summery book, I'm telling you, pick this up when you see it at the airport, pick it up when you see it at your bookstore. This One Golden Summer, she's that girl. I'm now officially crowning her the book of the summer. I've officially finished One Golden Summer. This was a fun time, was a giggly time. It was a real time. This, like I said, is a real life adult. I'm in my 30s. I'm trying to figure myself out at the same time. I'm trying to figure out a life partner out. So it's a realistic, wholehearted, relatable to me romance. All of the things you could want in a book are in here, and they're done extremely well. One Golden Summer is that bitch. This is the book of the summer. I loved this so much. I probably would have given it 5 stars. This gave me that 5-star feeling, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. A third act breakup, even though it wasn't dumb, it made sense in the grand scheme of things. It had a third act breakup, and for that, I'm deducting 0.5 points. So this is a 4.5 read, which is still amazing. I cannot say enough amazing things about One Golden Summer. Should we pick out our next book? I'm contemplating between 2 books. One, a fantasy that is newer, that the premise sounds amazing to me, or I might just have to do it. And I am so scared. I'm already tearing up even talking about it. I'm scared because of the emotional devastation that Frederick Bachman brings me. I know what's coming. I know it's gonna change my life if I pick up this book next, but I also know the emotional devastation that is about to enter my life. I already know. I'm gonna pick up My Friends by Frederick Bachman. It just came out. My soul needs it. One of my favorite authors of all time. So let me just take this minute. Let me have one last tear-free day. Let me have peace and emotional stability, because after I open my eyes and pick up Frederick Bachman's new book, I know what's to come. My friends, it is time for my friends. The rumors are true. I am indeed a new woman. You see her? She showered, she brushed her teeth, she can breathe, she can move right on time, because today is pretty much my Coachella, my prom. I know. I am going to a Jelly Cat. I repeat, me, Taylor Tippett. I am going to a Jelly Cat event tonight. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I have quite a few of them, but they're stuffed animals made in London, and they have the best, cutest little faces on them. You know, the girls that get it. Feeling so much better. I am ready to start my next book. I already told you what I'm reading, but I'm gonna be reading My Friends. It is a joy and an honor to be able to open his pages and sit with his stories. He just does it unlike any other. I'll never get over it, but read Bertan by him. That is my favorite. And if you're like, I can't commit to a 3-book series right now, and you want to give Frederick Bachman a try, Anxious People is a beautiful standalone by him that a lot of people love. A Man Called Ove and Britt Marie Was Here. I like that one a lot too. I read that one quite a while ago, but he's a work of art. I am kind of going into My Friends blind. The only thing I know about this book, it's about a group of friends. Obviously, it's called My Friends, and it has something to do with artwork. Also, I was reading one day with my friend Ayana, and she had started this book, and she was already crying like 10% in. She was like, "You're gonna love this book because it talks about farting a lot." Let me just tell you something. I am the biggest poopy, farty girl you'll ever meet. If this has farting in it, this might just be up there with his Beartown series for me. I am 30% into My Friends. Already, this book is so special. It's so delicate and profound and heartbreaking and funny. I am loving it so much. And I'm not surprised because I knew I was gonna just dive into this book and it was gonna change my life. It is so good. I was reading it this morning and I was laughing out loud. I have already felt all of the emotions. It is such a heavy yet light, sad yet funny, depressing yet hopeful read, which is nothing new for Frederick Bachman. That's how all of his books are. Before I give you the whole spiel on the book, I'll tell you that Frederick Bachman has the most beautiful writing. I feel like anytime I read any of his books, I annotate the shit out of it. I highlight so much. I reread so many quotes because they are so gripping and just like awe-inducing. I can't explain to you just what is Frederick Bachman. And I'll tell you so far, if you've read Beartown and you love Beartown, one of his main characters, honestly, a few of them, but one named Jor is Benji reinvented. And I am having the time of my life reading about him, reading about all of these characters I'm meeting. But this book is about friendship, grief, and art, all tied into one, but following two sets of timelines and friendships. So the first one is this girl named Louisa. I'm obsessed with her. She's so funny. She just turned 18. She lost her best friend Fish not that long ago. So that's the grief that she's dealing with. Her and Fish grew up in foster homes. It's been really, really bad, and you get to see some of that. So there's a lot of heaviness there. And that's like the first kind of present day timeline that you're following. Louisa is obsessed with this artist, and specifically this artist's painting of the ocean and a pier with these boys sitting at the end of it. The book opens up with her sneaking into this art auction where this painting is being sold. So she sneaks in, this chaos happens, she runs away and she goes and hides in the back alley. And in the back alley, she meets this homeless man. You come to find out that the homeless man is actually the artist named Sejat, who is responsible for this painting and like who she's obsessed with. And so they get to meet and have this beautiful interaction. And then at the same time, you get to flash back to Sejat's childhood and what inspired this painting. And in the painting, the boys that were sitting on the pier are his best friends, and you get to meet them. And the two friends are Jor and Ted. And so that's their friend group. And when you're flashing back to before, it's just them growing up. They all had really rough childhoods. They all struggled with mental health things. And so you're flashing back and forth between Luis's like present day meeting this artist and things kind of happening from there. And then flashing back to the artist's childhood, getting to know all the friends, seeing how special those years were and how their friendship really shaped one another. In the present day, Louisa gets to meet the artist, and one thing leads to another, and she ends up being more connected to him because of something that happens that I won't spoil. It is so touching, but at the same time, it is so sad and filled with so much grief and heaviness. And that is Frederick Bachman. I probably should count the number of times 30% in that the word fart has been mentioned. There is so much farting goodness that I couldn't ask for anything else in a book. I also need to read you. I have been going back and forth between my book and my Kindle, and I highlighted, I think like 3 pages of this quote that moved me to tears. I just have to read it to you. I'm probably not even gonna do it justice, but like, please just sit and listen to this, okay? The only thing we can take for granted is that everyone we have ever met and everyone we have ever known and everyone we have ever loved will die. So how great must our imaginations be for us to even summon up the enthusiasm to get out of bed each morning? Endless. Imagination is the only thing that stops us from thinking about death every second. And when we aren't thinking, those are our very best moments, when we're wasting our lives. It's an act of magnificent rebellion to do meaningless things, to waste time, to swim and drink soda and sleep late, to be silly and frivolous, to laugh at stupid little jokes and tell stupid little stories, or to paint big paintings, the biggest you can manage, and to try to learn to whisper in color, to look for a way to show other people this was me. These were my humans, these were our farts. These were our bodies, and they were small, far too small, because they couldn't contain all our love. That's all of life, all we can hope for. You mustn't think about the fact that it might end, because then you live like a coward. You never love too much or sing too loudly. You have to take it for granted, the artist things, the whole thing. Sunrises and slow Sunday mornings, and water balloons and another person's breath against your neck. That's the only courageous thing a person can do. They keep talking about cookies in this book. Mind you, they're like stale cookies and not good cookies, but cookies keeps getting mentioned in my friends. And I thought, it's been a minute. Baking some cookies sounds like a 10 out of 10, amazing, perfect idea. These look so good. I probably need to wait a little bit more for them to cool, but I can't wait. You go first. That is a good ass cookie. You're not ready for the Friday night that we're about to have. First on the agenda is my Olympic torch lighting. I got my tea lights. Moment of silence. All right, are we ready? Wait. I'm scared. Oh, hi. Hi. I am halfway through, my friends, and when I tell you I have laughed every chapter, like out loud, I've laughed. It is so funny. I was not expecting that because it's super heavy at the same time. And I knew with Frederick there was going to be some lightheartedness, but I wasn't expecting like audible laughing. And that's exactly what's happening. It's so funny. And earlier when I was explaining to you the plot of the book, I left one part out because I wasn't sure if it was a spoiler, but I read the back of the book and it's on there. So a part I didn't tell you earlier is Louise is obsessed with this painting. She sneaks into the gallery exhibit to see it, and when she's out back, she runs into the artist. Well, that's the last day of the artist's life. He literally dies that night, and his last wish is that Ted, who is one of his best friends growing up, the artist tells Ted to go find Louise and to give the painting to her. And from there, Ted gives Louise this painting and plans on like taking the train, going home, and she follows him. They're on the train together now, going to wherever Ted is going to try to figure out what to do with this painting that Louise has been gifted but has nowhere to put it. She's homeless, and so they're trying to figure out what to do with this painting. They're on the train and they're just like bantering. Ted is sharing flashbacks to his childhood. The way the story is written is really cool because it's present day on the train, but he's also going back in the middle of being on the train and sharing parts of the story, and then like it'll come back in the same chapter and Louise will like cut him off with a silly question. So it's like back and forth timeline, but not broken up into chapters. It's broken up just like in dialogue, and I feel like my ADHD brain is loving it because it's not like before then. You know how chapters with flashback timelines usually are, and I'm loving it. I'm halfway through this book. I'm highlighting so much. Another page says, "Art is coincidence, love is chaos." I have 60 pages left of my friends, and it's truly been the most beautiful train ride with Louisa and Ted, who were strangers, but they're now not. Louisa and Ted have been going back and forth, sharing life stories. Louisa's with her best friend Fish and growing up in foster care, and Ted and his friend group that ended up actually being 4 of them. It's the artists, Jawar, Ali, and Ted. It is heartbreakingly one of the most beautiful tales that isn't intertwined but becomes intertwined. I haven't been updating you because it's just one of those books that seeps into your soul as you go. As the story progresses and your love for these humans progresses, the story is just gonna be whatever it's supposed to be for you. The purpose of this one is to go on this journey cross country. They have been on this train the whole time. The story finds you how it's supposed to find you. So I can't say much, but what I'll tell you is that this story is one that just like seeps into the deepest little cracks in your heart and in your life and leaves you with a lot of joy and deep thoughts and ruminations about life. So without further ado, let's finish, my friends. Can I ask something? Louisa asked. How do you cope with death? It's art that helps me cope, because art is a fragile magic, just like love, and that's humanity's only defense against death. That we create and paint and dance and fall in love. That's a rebellion against eternity. Everything beautiful is a shield. Vincent van Gogh wrote, "I always think that the best way to know God is to love many things." It's cool that we happen at all, Louisa whispers. Something like that. The mother smiles. This book and this story are gonna sit with me for a really long time. An absolute 5-star read. For those of us who feel deeply, hurt deeply, who've struggled with grief, finding your people, who love art and just want to appreciate the beauty and the stillness and the hardness and just the living of life, this book is for you. This is so special. And if you get anything out of this video, please read, my friends. Holy shit. I'll leave you with that.